Brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of Africa, listen closely, because what I'm about to say is not just about one man, not just about one warrant, but about the dignity of an entire continent. They thought an arrest warrant would silence a voice. They thought a piece of paper could chain the spirit of millions. They thought Interpol, with its red notices and signatures, could intimidate us into submission. But they were wrong. This is not fear speaking, this is truth. Interpol's so-called warrant is not about justice, not about law, not about peace. It is a weapon. A weapon forged by the same hands that once drew colonial borders with blood, the same hands that looted our minerals, enslaved our ancestors, and robbed us of centuries of progress. Tell me, was it Africans who enslaved Europeans and shipped them across oceans? Was it Africans who bombed nations, overthrew governments, and turned lands into ashes? No. It was the so-called civilized West. And now, because one African soldier dares to rise, they use Interpol like a hunting dog to chase him down. But here's what they didn't expect. This warrant backfired the very moment it was announced. Because now the truth is out in the open. People see clearly, this isn't about Ibrahim Traoré. This is about Africa's freedom, Africa's sovereignty, Africa's right to own its destiny. Let me speak directly to those who sit in Washington, Paris, and Brussels. You speak of democracy, of human rights, of global peace, but your history tells a very different story. When a dictator bows before you, you welcome him with open arms. When a puppet signs away his country's resources, you celebrate him as a partner. But when a leader stands tall for his people, suddenly he becomes a criminal, a rebel, threat to global order. This is not justice, this is hypocrisy at its finest. Look at the record: Patrice Lumumba, assassinated. Thomas Sankara, silenced. Nelson Mandela, labeled a terrorist. Kwame Nkrumah, called a threat. Every African leader who ever stood up for his people was demonized, hunted, destroyed. And now, because one more soldier has dared to say, enough, you add his name to that same list. But let me be clear, this struggle is not about one man. It is about millions. It is about a generation that has sworn never again to kneel. The youth of Africa have risen. The farmers, the workers, the builders, they have opened their eyes. And no paper signed in Paris or Brussels can close them again. They fear one thing above all: an Africa that stands united. An Africa where our gold powers African schools, where our uranium lights African homes, where our oil builds African industries, and our fertile land feeds African children. They fear a continent that refuses to remain their mine, their farm, their playground. That fear is what fuels this warrant. Donald Trump, you speak of making America great again, but was America ever great for Africa? Was it great when millions of our ancestors were forced into slavery on your plantations? Was it great when African resources were drained to build your skyscrapers and your weapons? You may carry your threats, your sanctions, your arrogance, but we are no longer afraid. Emmanuel Macron, you sit in your palace in Paris, preaching liberty, equality, fraternity, yet your hands drip with African blood. France has lived off our uranium, our gold, our sweat for decades. And now you believe an arrest warrant will make us crawl back to you? No, Macron. France is finished in Africa. Your arrogance has expired. And to the European Union, with your endless committees and fake diplomacy, stop pretending you are guardians of morality. You fund coups when they serve your companies. You celebrate elections when your puppets win. And the moment a leader says, our resources belong to our people, you call him a criminal. This is not justice. This is corruption hiding in plain sight. Interpol, hear me clearly, you are not neutral. You are not defenders of law. You are an extension of empire. You are the weapon of those who could not win on the battlefield, so now they hide behind papers, stamps, and signatures. But let me tell you, revolutions are not stopped by paper. Freedom is not chained by ink. Arrest warrants cannot break a continent that has already broken the chains of colonization. Sanctions cannot silence a people who have decided to speak. And threats cannot defeat a youth that has already risen. This is why your warrant has backfired. Because it has unmasked your fear. It has shown the world what you truly are. And it has proven that Africa is no longer asleep. Brothers and sisters, let us speak honestly. For centuries, they have treated Africa as nothing more than a marketplace, a mine, and a battlefield. They divided us with borders we never drew. They robbed us with contracts we never signed. They poisoned our lands with wars we never started. And still they expect us to bow. But today I say this clearly, Africa will not bow. Not to Interpol. Not to Paris. Not to Washington. Not to Brussels. Our resources are not gifts to the West. Our gold, our uranium, our oil, our fertile soil, These belong first and forever to Africa. For too long, these riches built their factories, fueled their economies, and powered their cities, while our children went to bed hungry. That era is over. We will build our own industries. We will power our own homes. We will feed our own children. And no foreign power will dictate our destiny. To those who doubt us, look at history. Every empire believed it would last forever. Every oppressor thought their chains were unbreakable. But the truth of history is this: no chain is stronger than the will of a people determined to be free. They tried to chain our ancestors, but they broke free. They tried to silence our heroes, but their voices became eternal. And today they try again with a piece of paper. But this paper is weaker than the spirit of Africa. I say this not as one man, not as one leader, but as a voice of millions. If I fall, another will rise. If I am silenced, another will speak louder. If I am jailed, the prison walls will echo with our defiance. Because this struggle is not about Ibrahim Traoré alone. It is about every African youth who refuses to kneel. It is about every farmer who refuses to sell his land for scraps. It is about every worker who refuses to die in poverty while others profit from his sweat. Let me remind the West: intimidation may have worked in the past, but Africa has awakened. We are connected, we are informed, and we are united. Your propaganda cannot blind us. Your sanctions cannot stop us. Your warrants cannot chain us. You are afraid because you know the truth. The era of your dominance is ending, and the dawn of Africa is rising. Interpol, your red notice is nothing but red ink on white paper. You claim neutrality, but you serve the powerful. You claim justice, but you defend thieves. You claim order, but you spread chaos. And now the world sees your mask slipping. You are not guardians of peace. You are gatekeepers of empire. And your gate is about to fall. To the leaders of Africa who still bow to foreign masters, your time is over. The youth will not forgive you. History will not forgive you. You can hide behind your offices, your contracts, your foreign advisors, but you cannot hide from the judgment of your people. Africa's new generation has declared, no more puppets, no more sellouts, no more compromises with those who drained our blood for centuries. This is not just resistance, this is rebirth. The rebirth of a continent that will no longer beg, no longer crawl, no longer serve. We will decide our future. We will protect our wealth. We will honor our ancestors. And we will secure the dignity of our children. So let this warrant be remembered, not as a symbol of our weakness, but as a declaration of our awakening. A badge of honor that proves we stood up when silence was demanded. A reminder that even in the face of threats, we chose courage over fear. Donald Trump, Macron, the European Union, and Interpol, hear these words: you cannot intimidate us. You cannot divide us. You cannot break us. Your papers will burn, your threats will fade, your empires will collapse. But Africa will remain, strong, united, free. And to my people, stand tall. Do not be afraid. The world may try to isolate us, but unity will carry us further than any sanction ever could. They may try to silence us, but our voices together are louder than their bombs, louder than their propaganda, louder than their lies. This is our time. This is our destiny. And nothing on this earth can stop a continent that has decided to rise. Africa is awake. Africa is strong. Africa is unstoppable. And to everyone watching this message, I say this from my heart: stay with us in this struggle. Share this vision, spread this truth, and join this movement. Together we will write history not as victims but as victors. This is Vision Rise 24, your channel for truth, for courage, for the rise of Africa. If you believe in this cause, if you stand for dignity and freedom, then don't just watch, be part of it. Hit that subscribe button, share this video with your brothers and sisters, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let your voice be heard. Because together we rise. Together we fight. Together we win.